Yesterday I told you how my marriage was on the rocks because my wife was mad at me for taking all our money at Christmas time and investing it in a business venture that made us broke. Let me tell you how it all started. I was intrigued with the internet at a very early age. When I was 14, I built my first website. It was one of those GeoCities websites, and I used Dreamweaver to program the HTML. I don't know if you remember those days. When I was 19 years old, back in 2002, it was the year I graduated high school. My mom didn't let me start on time, so that's why I was almost 19 years old when I graduated in May. My stepdad suggested that I get a vinyl cutter and make decals for go-karts. My brother and I were racing go-karts at the time. So I set up shop in my mom's living room with a laptop and a 24-inch light gray graphtec plotter cutter. I started cutting decals. I get my entrepreneurial spirit from my mom. She's been a photographer ever since I was born. So fast forward 10 years, I was married to Maggie, and we had arrived in Columbia, Mississippi, where we had a storefront location making signs and decals for businesses. And one of the things I saw was a need for customers who came into my store. They were struggling, and their best solution was to put up more signs and more banners to attract more business. So I started offering websites to those customers to get exposure in the fast-growing online marketplace. We continued to invest in training on digital advertising, and as social media became the place where people were interacting more and more, we saw that as a viable opportunity for businesses as well. Businesses all over the country were using it, but it was a struggle to convince business owners here locally that the rest of the South needed to get online. So I decided to take a handful of clients and try to prove that there was an opportunity for local businesses to use the internet and social media to grow their business. I did some tests, and I poked my toe in here and there. I made a few small wins over the next few years, and then something happened that I never expected. A tornado hit our hometown at Christmas time. That evening, I built a website and a Facebook page just to share information and recruit volunteers to help clean up our town. I shared a few posts and connected with a few people. I went to sleep with about 50 people connected to our page, and I woke up with over 1,500 people connected. What? Over the next 3 months, we cleaned up the town, and it was an unprecedented recovery. The state emergency management called it a textbook recovery, and that's a story for another day. I knew there was something to this, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. I hit a wall. For the next 3 years, I had some really great experiences, but I just couldn't put it down on paper how to duplicate what happened again. Until 3 years later, it was Christmas Eve. I promised that I would reproduce the results for a client, and my back was up against the wall. Stay tuned for day 3, the Christmas present that changed my life. Your guide, Nick Ingram.